Hello people, this is Ryder here to review the Kamen Rider Gaim DX Kiwami Lockseed. So here we are with the final form item of the year, to which, first of all, I never got the box for this one. But this one did have like a really interesting box, so it's unfortunate I don't have it. But anyways, obviously this is the set that comprises of the Kiwami Lockseed and the Senyu Point. I think it's called, I keep getting it wrong despite having the CSM version. So which, obviously, this allows Gaim to access his final form, Kiwami Arms, and all that fun stuff. So here's the Senyu Point, which is basically just another faceplate, which is, again, really actually cool to include for the final form item. Which, again, it's in the same traditional navy blue plastic, which is, again, really nice to see after a while. It doesn't really have that much color. The only color it has is the silver here, which is, you know, pretty on par and such. Like, obviously, this is just kind of like this is probably, I guess, technically the biggest faceplate we've gotten, because obviously this entire mechanism that allows it to turn and such. So here's the Genesis core. Just the differences between these two is kind of funny. Just because obviously this one's obviously actually molded to be more of like a faceplate. And it doesn't actually trigger anything, obviously, because it doesn't need to. Because unlike the Genesis core, this one doesn't actually, obviously, take in any Lockseeds, because it can't. And here we have the Kiwami Lockseed, which this one is definitely interesting, because, as you can see from here, it's actually, like, it's very interesting. Like, it's a more different looking lock. But, obviously the whole motif of this is that, obviously, as you can see the fruits from here, it's supposed to be a fruit basket, or a fruit basket of some kind. So I like how they combine the two together and such. So here we have the front with the nice molding right there. The, kind of like bronze gold paint. And then we have 7 fruits up here. We have orange, suica, ichigo, budo, banana, pine, and melon. And the numbering here is interesting because this one's just LS Infinity. And I obviously want to apologize for the fact that the green on my orange is very scuffed. Other than that, it's just cast in, like very just clear black plastic for the most part. Which again, because of its correlations with Kachidoki, it's supposed to be consistent with that and such. But this one's just entirely transparent plastic. Again, we have like gold around here. Other than that, the only other significant color is this orange and such. In the back, again, we got a trans stamp, and forgot to turn that off, and just, you know, just that button. And unlocking it is pretty interesting because this one's actually the only lock that's not spring-loaded. So, as you can see from here, you don't actually unlock this portion. It's actually the smaller portion and such, because this portion actually does move for just, I think, might be for safety reasons or just because of other things and such. But yeah, it's definitely really interesting how this is actually not the main portion of the lock, because the actual spring portion is when we press this button here. The key, because the Kiwami Lockseed is a fruit basket lock key. It's just really interesting and such. And like the design of the key is pretty cool and such. Very springy overall. Just, you know, it's really nice how it comes out and such. It's kind of like the Budo and like Suica Lockseed switches, where you don't have to press it all the way just for it to make a sound, but you know. Other than that, turn it on like so. We get a white LED. This one's a lot more difficult to actually see the LEDs come through just because of how thick this is. Speaking of that, opening up the Kiwami Lockseed, this one obviously, as you can tell, is a heavily different design compared to all the other Lockseeds. But if you saw the Kachidoki Lockseed review, you can kind of see where they're going with this and such. As obviously we have Kiwami arms down here, and then up here we have the remaining half of the Lockseeds. So this is Kachidoki, banana, Budo, mango, kiwi, dongri, matsubokuri, durian, no, kurumi and durian. So, yeah. Anyways, as you already heard me do before, this back button here actually gives us phrases of kota and such, to which for the most part it's 4. So again, I'll angle it like this so that you can actually see the LEDs. So you get the excuse me, you get those 5 sounds, and you get an orange LED. However, it's the last phrase parallels between that phrase or like the other one, which is pretty interesting. Other than that, we just, just like how there's always a win and lose within the Invis games, it's in here, but this time it's one of 2 phrases of my. So obviously I'll just speed through this at this point. So that's the first one, and I do like how they actually made my white to specify it's the Woman of Creation, what was it called? And then there's her second phrase. And obviously, last but not least, the lock activation. It just, obviously, instead of just saying Kiwami, it's fruit basket. So we will do that again. So I really like how it goes from white and then like a 7 LED. It's pretty neat. So let's use this within the Sengoku jar. So obviously, with the Sengoku driver, you want it to already set within Kachidoki. Like, you just want to be transformed, because you want to remove the faceplate and then insert the Senyu point like so. Because then, after that, as you can see, the 2 arrows are actually now mirrored from each other and such. Activate the Kiwami Lockseed. Which then, what you want to do is you want to slot the Kiwami Lockseed into this section like so. You want to click it in. So then you get this entire standby. And then to complete the transformation, swing the Lockseed down. So here we have the transmission of Gaim Kiwami arms, which, honestly, this looks great. I feel like it's been a while since we've had a final form like actually look impressive, because I feel like the last time was Geats 9. But again, I just like how this entire like portrait is like made. Yeah, the only issue is that this isn't as sturdy, because this piece is too heavy for the Sengoku driver, so it's just like I kind of wish it was like a bit more stable. But like, as overall, I like how all this works, and I like how they managed to get this to work and such. And it's just really cool how they managed to get both toys to correlate with each other. Even though the Kachidoki Lockseed sound kind of weaker, because it sounds more subdued, because it's supposed to be die shogun and such. But like I think they could have done better. But like I know there's issues, so some people's not syncing up. But like luckily, mine does, even if again it doesn't really sound that great. Anyways, we do have our traditional finishers. These are all coming from the Kachidoki Lockseed. So yeah, and I want to just point these out too, because like obviously I think these are obviously supposed to just fill in the slot for not having a faceplate, which again it's just really nice to see. The Kiwami Lockseed, the entire gimmick of this Lockseed is that he has the ability to access all the arms weapons. So when we swing it, it'll go through a sequence of 13 arms weapons. So obviously we'll go through them all. I really do like how there's, you know, the colors coordinate with the weapon and a signature attack sound. Kind of unfortunate that's the only one he never used. Oops. Oh, interesting they went with purple, but I think it's just because Kurakage is black, so. Also, if you can't tell, the Kachidoki Lockseed is making its own sounds too. Because they both have the turning sound, but obviously Kachidoki's only has the turning sound. Last but not least, kind of disappointed that one is just a reuse from the original toy. Oh well. That's basically it with the Kiwami Lockseed. So just fold them up like so, and then unlock this. And then you would just want to pull this out like so. And then, obviously, we can still use the Kiwami Lockseed within this Sengoku driver like so. So you just want to simply fold that down, insert it, and then flip it up like so. So there we get a simplified transformation of Kiwami arms, and then when we do the finishers, they actually are different from the Kachidoki Lockseed. Of course, the battery died. Then, as you can tell, the insertion sound and like the ejecting sounds are the same from Kachidoki, so I like again that there's more correlation. And then Genesis Core. I really do like that they actually took in the effort to actually have this in a standby phase kind of thing. And then I think I don't really know what the beginning phrase is. To which I've got to show this when it was in the set new point. If you actually do unlock it and then like try to use it, it actually just resets the toy, which is interesting. Which I will show here is that with the Senyu point, you can actually just use this by itself. You don't need to use it in coordination with the Sengoku driver nor Kachidoki Lockseed. As you can hear how empty it is. And then again, if you do that, so it just resets it, which is definitely an interesting feature. And then for this one, we will use the DJ gun. Sorry you couldn't hear it. So yeah, again, you can kind of display it like this, because it, you know, if you watch a certain review, you know it. But yeah, overall, the Kiwami Lockseed is a pretty decent final form item for sure, and definitely, again, like I would say, the majority of Gaim items kind of set a standpoint to where final form items go, because obviously this was the first one, and I would say in like at that time that actually obviously included character phrases, to which they tried to make, well, I mean, it wasn't until the Mugen Ghost icon that they were actually like a consistent thing, because I don't count Shift Tridron, because we will get to that later. But other than that, like, I like how this is still just a traditional Lockseed. Like, obviously it's just newly shaped and all. It's definitely, again, the most interesting shaped looking Lockseed, because again, it's practically just a key. But it's also just like, you know, it has its own entire unique device. I like how they actually managed to like give us a new piece to like play it, like to insert in the Sengoku driver, because I honestly do prefer when they do that and such. And obviously, if you're wondering how this works, is just basically this post here just forcibly opens that up and such. Because again, it's just, again, like, it's not anything like it. I like with this Lockseed, they're not like they're not like trying to like make anything new and such. They're just using whatever like exists and such, to which they just simply made a new post that just simply manually opens it and such. Because it's like, this is already like, obviously they already have to make it open up for the sake of the Sengoku driver. So it's just like, it's kind of smart that they just simply found a way to like just do this entire mechanism and such. Like, it's just definitely, like, they didn't, okay, I'll rephrase that. They didn't have to reinvent the wheel with anything. They already used they're just using whatever is like already like present within the line or within the gimmick, They're just actually doing something with it and such, which is what I guess what I like about this. They're not trying to like reinvent the wheel. They're just expanding on like attributes that have already been present within the Lockseeds and like just embodying it in like one new thing and such. Again, I don't even mind the fact that like the lock isn't as significant here, because technically I guess you can consider this one the like, you know, banana and like kiwi style, like, because technically I guess it is that, but it's just, it's interesting in a way because it's just like, I like how they still included this despite the fact you don't need it. And this is, there's technically no reason why it does this at all, because technically the only reason why you would do that is just to do a stupid combination. Like, I still like they still, like, obviously they need to include this and such, but like, I just like how, you know, the more signature thing is just this key and such, because again, I just like the concept they did with it and such. Obviously, I should probably point this out that, like, you can get these two in a set because they re-released Kachidoki when Kiwami got released and such, to which it's, I don't know about getting the set within the aftermarket, because getting Kiwami itself is actually pretty difficult. Because obviously I had to get this used just because this is hard getting with the box. Because, I mean, I think the thing too is that it's just more expensive getting this thing with the box and such. I think for how much I got this by itself, used, I think I was lucky enough and got this for $25, which is not typically the price it goes for. Then again, like, obviously mine is heavily scuffed and such, but because this thing, I think, has dropped in price, but at best, I think this thing sells used for, like, for used, this thing at least sells for 40 and such, which is obviously really steep because of the fact it's a final form item. But this is luckily not one of the harder, well, I mean, it's kind of difficult, but it's like, it's at least more present, especially again with the CSM version. But again, I'm not trying to compare it with the CSM version. But like, other than that, like, this is a really nice toy overall. However, obviously this is not the last of the toy line, because this is actually when the remembered movie items were a thing. But I think for like, show-wise, this is like, again, like a really nice like way to like round out the toy line and overall. So that'll have to do this review. This is Ryder with Fuel.